Hi, I'm Blake Margolis, and I'm candidate for mayor of Rowlett. I've lived in Rowlett for 22 years, my entire life. If you don't mind, I'm going to grab my phone and read that off for you. So, I have been the chair of the Ethics Subcommittee, member of the Finance and Audit Committee, member of the Code and Environmental Review Committee, member of the Court Governance Committee, member of the Garland ISD Cities Coalition, member of the North Texas Commission, Cities Coalition, member of the Rowlett Business Stimulus Committee, co-founding member of the Rowlett Community Organizations Active in Disaster, council liaison to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, council liaison to the Youth Advisory Council, council liaison to the Texas Municipal League, council liaison and member of the 2018 Strategic Planning Committee, council liaison to the previous council liaison to the Library Advisory Board, member of the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce, member of the Rowlett Fire Corps, member of the Rowlett Community Emergency Response Team, and a Leadership Rowlett alumni. So my passion for serving others is what drives me. My motivation for running for mayor is the firm belief that the mayor position should be held by someone with the right experience and someone who can lead this community in an honest and transparent way. So I have served for 5 years on the Rowlett City Council, 2 terms elected, so 2017 and 2020. And I did so by being proactive and by not just attending the required meetings, twice a month. As we know, anything involved with the government is moves slow and it takes time. And, a learning curve for the mayor position will only slow down progress in the right direction. And of the 3 candidates, I feel like I am the most qualified for this position. Sure. So ensure that a fair and equitable contract is implemented with the North Texas Municipal Water District. Continue to prioritize public safety investment to adjust to the increasing population and risks. Create and implement an infrastructure report card system, which will assist staff and council with project prioritization, and partner with DART member cities to organize a coalition to advocate for a reduction of the amount of sales tax that DART receives annually from the city of Rowlett, which is roughly, at this point, about $7 million a year. So, of course, the PCI average PCI rating for the city in 2019 was 77, and fast forward to today, and our current average PCI rating is 74. So we're falling behind. In order to maintain the current average PCI rating, which is the Pavement Condition Index, we would have to invest up to $11 million every year for the next 10 years. So that's going to take significant investment from future bond elections and continuing the cash CIP, the general fund investment of $3 million a year. So between those two, we should be allocating at or over $11 million just to maintain our current PCI. So it is absolutely critical that future councils continue the investment in the infrastructure projects across the city. So the infrastructure report card system that I referred to earlier, that will help council with project prioritization. So what it does is it grades each category of infrastructure. So if it's your water transportation lines, if it's your sewer lines, roads, alleys, generators, capital needs, and it it ranks it from like a grade A to D minus, and and having each of those categories evaluated to determine the condition, the rate of deterioration, will provide a score on each of those categories. And that allows council to go back in each bond election and to see where the most of our problems are and how we can better invest our dollars in those areas. And so I would say that implementing an infrastructure report card system is absolutely necessary. Other cities around do that. Carrollton has a model example, and that's kind of what I would like to see Rowlett piggyback off of, is how they implement their system. So my opinion on multifamily is we have quite enough, I think, at this point. With the implementation of the previous Realize Rowlett 2020 comprehensive plan, and with the amendment to the form-based code, that has kind of paved the way for this rapid development of multifamily, and those ordinances were approved from previous councils. And in a combination with that, council took away the special use permit process for multifamily. I pushed and was able to get it added back about a year ago. So special use permits require developers to apply for the special use permit and come in front of council and P&Z to seek approval of their project, even if the property is zoned multifamily and if all of the development codes align with the project. So they're now required, no matter what, to come in front of P&Z and council to seek approval or denial. And since the implementation of the SUP, there has been, I think, no apartment complexes that have come before P&Z and council at this time. So I'd say that it has worked to deter additional multifamily. I'm not against multifamily, but I certainly think that there's a line, and I think we've crossed it. And it has taken a toll on our infrastructure. It's taken a toll on public safety and city operations and just overall quality of life. And we need to be able to keep up with the growth and not just approve, or by those previous codes, just let it happen. So that's what I would say on multifamily, additional multifamily in the city.
Okay.
So yes, so the comprehensive plan is developed by a group of citizens every 5 years, and I'd say that we absolutely have to refer to that when we consider zoning cases. Typically, when we're amending the comprehensive plan one property at a time, that's because a developer came to us with a zoning change request because maybe they want to build something different. And council has to consider that one case at a time. I would say that we also need to strongly continue to keep referring to the comprehensive plan when we make those decisions to ensure that we're keeping in line with the vision that we have set forth in the comp plan. So the action that the city has taken has been, I think, effective so far. If some of the residents watching don't know, 2 years ago, the city implemented a customer cities coalition. Rowlett is the largest customer city of the North Texas Municipal Water District. Other cities like Plano, Frisco, Garland, Wiley are member cities, and so they have a vote at the table. Rowlett does not. So we decided that we could see power in a group, and that would be the Customer Cities Coalition. We protested the water rate methodology, the take or pay methodology, and even submitted letters to the Public Utilities Commission. And fortunately, it sounds like progress has been made in that area regarding addressing the taker pay, and implementing a 7-year rolling average. So basically, instead of this, we pay the highest amount of water that we've ever used, which is about 3.2 gallons of water, which was in 2011. That was the highest amount of water we used. And we haven't used that much since then. We only use about 2 billion gallons a year. So we have to make up that difference of about over 1 billion gallons of water that we don't use, but we pay for. So the take or pay system just was an unfair methodology on the Rowlett citizens. And so that has been, to my knowledge, has been tweaked, and the water district should be coming to us soon to renegotiate Rowlett's contract and to implement that new take or pay methodology that implements a 7-year rolling average. So instead of a permanent, it's the highest use in 7 years is what we pay, and then after the 7 years it starts over. The problem that we will have to face coming up is that we have gotten word that the water district is looking to increase the customer city premium of 5 cents per 1,000 gallons to 30 cents per 1,000 gallons. So that's roughly a difference of what we're paying about $150,000 a year on a premium for being a customer city to be paying over $1 million a year for being a customer city. So that's going to be the next fight that Rowlett will have to face when we're in negotiations with the water district, is fighting that proposed premium increase. And that may involve litigation. I don't know. But it just is unacceptable. And, I'm pretty sure we're going to do everything we can to fight that against the water district and their proposal. So, I wish I could just make a phone call to HEB and say, hey, we would love you to come to Rowlett. I'd say that there's been historically an issue with not promoting Rowlett enough. And there's been a leadership change in Economic Development Department, and we've already seen an increase in promotion of our city. We have new economic development proposals for the North Shore, and that looks positive. We need jobs, and we need quality businesses to come into our city. So the way to do that is promoting and making Rowlett known to these companies. Without doing that, which we really didn't do enough before last year, that's kind of like hoping. If we're not promoting, we're just kind of waiting, and that's not really how you wait for something. That's not how you get something that you want, is by waiting, because they're not gonna come find you. You have to go to them most of the time. I would say that depends. Would I provide an economic development incentive to an apartment complex? Absolutely not. Never. We should have never. I'd say that if we provide any incentives, that it should be obviously carefully considered. How many jobs is it going to bring to the city? Are they quality jobs? Are they good paying jobs? What is the sales tax benefit? Are we going to be able to offset the property tax burden on homeowners? So there are various things that have to be considered on a case-by-case basis before I can just say, oh yeah, absolutely, we're going to give you an incentive. And what does that incentive look like? Is it a certain amount of property tax abatement? Is it some sales tax abatement? Is it a public improvement district, a tax increment reinvestment zone? There's so many different ways to provide an incentive. So, as home appraisal values continue to skyrocket up, and I mean, we're seeing just crazy prices for homes. And so that's good for resale value, but it's not so good to your wallet when you have to pay your tax bill. And so, one of the ways the city can try to help is by reducing the property tax rate to offset some of that burden. And Rowlett over the last few years has decreased the property tax rate by 4.2 cents per $100 of assessed value. It is, I would say that we must continue to uh, advocate for and reduce the property tax rate as long as home appraisal values continue to go up. We have to be able to have some affordability in this city for people. Some people are being priced out of their homes. So we have to be very careful in consideration of that when we go to approve budgets. We also have to consider the fact that we have so many needs. So it's the great balancing act when you approve a budget. You have to accomplish some of your needs and be able to provide some relief to the citizens. So it is no secret that there exists an issue in police and courts. Um, while I cannot go into detail regarding this, I can say that I have tried to and will continue to try to resolve this matter, and by taking action. And action is desperately needed on this matter. And let's hope I didn't just say too much to end up with another ethics complaint violation pinned against me. So that's what I'll say on that topic. I see Rowlett being a gem in the North Texas region, with the development of the $1 billion Sapphire Bay project, with the development of the North Shore District, bringing jobs into our city, with enhancing our transportation, roads, and other transportation methods, and other community enhancements, neighborhood enhancements, investing into lower income neighborhoods. That's being able for people to shop in Rowlett, not have to leave our city to go shop. That's what I hope to see for our city in 10 years. So this question isn't really accurate. I am a homeowner and I do pay taxes. And, I'm sorry I wasn't able to own a home when I was 2 years old. But I have always advocated for lowering property taxes. And just within the last few years, again, the city has reduced the property tax rate by 4.2 cents per $100 assessed value. And we have to continue to provide property tax rate relief. I wouldn't necessarily say that we've had excessive turnover outside of police and courts. I think some turnover is just a natural part of an organization. And I think one way to combat this issue of turnover is just having competitive salaries, being competitive with surrounding cities so that others don't choose to leave Rowlett for better pay. So we have to, again, with all the other needs that we have in this community, when we go to budget, we also have to look at, are we paying our employees enough to stay and serve our city? So I wasn't aware that I was being criticized for being too public on social media. Is being transparent not expected of an elected official? I consider it one of my duties to be transparent and keep the citizens informed. And, I think the citizens expect their council member or mayor to be present and engaged on social media. I mean, in this day and age, that's sort of like the citizens want that. They want that interaction. And social media allows us to have that interaction with them. I knew that this election season was going to be tough, but I didn't know it was going to be this contentious. Um, however, there's a tremendous amount of passion in Rowlett, and I think that's exciting. Um, I don't want this to be an ugly campaign. That's not who I am. And, my ultimate goal is just to benefit this city, to leave it better off than when I began to serve. And, there have been many assumptions and accusations made against all three mayoral candidates. And I think that's unfortunate, but that's just, I guess, what we have to expect in campaign season. Um, I think anyone who knows me knows that I don't have a personal agenda. Um, I don't have a business that I'm trying to benefit from, and this could very well be the last elected office that I hold and want to hold. Ultimately, I only want what is best for this community, and to put community first in all decision making. So, I appreciate anybody's willingness to serve, and to bravery to run for office. That's a hard thing to do. It is commendable, and I have much respect for my opponents who have chosen to run for this office and be brave.